you're getting diarrhea. What's going on? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's the way you came in, and and you start right away. You're getting influenced by the environment, and for that matter, even when you're in the womb, you're getting influenced by the environment constantly. Okay, so and that's affecting you, and definitely when you come out and you're being influenced by the environment or the food or other things that you're being given. Okay, so that's where you have to say, okay, this is my constitution, and this is where it gets even more beneficial, I think, and useful if you start noticing these things in your kids. Because those of you who have kids, the day they were born, I don't have any kids, but I know my mom always tells me, and like, oh, you were like this, your brother was like this. And that's true this day, to some degree. In physiology, psychologically, in various ways, we're set. Okay, yeah, we have grown and changed, but the core is still there. Okay. Does that answer your question? Okay. All right. Yes?
So kids that are born with different food allergies, right? So for example, I was allergic to milk as a child, or somebody said allergic to milk, right?
Yeah.
So, fed for other things, and then as an adult, I never had developed allergies. Physically I didn't have allergies, but I noticed when I had one milk, I was angry, like I would get really moody and really, kind of. So it's like, I'm wondering, even though as I've seen a lot of little kids now, they tend to grow out of allergies.
Yep.
But I'm wondering if those still then continue to manifest, like as my example, in other ways.
It can, absolutely.
Or can they just grow out of it, that
if your resistance or your digestive strength is strong, you can digest anything. Technically, you digest poison, as per the Ayurvedic seers, as they put it, right? So maybe your obviously as a child, in your constitution, your digestive capacity to digest milk was not very good.
Right.
Caused you problems.
And developed.
Exactly, into a certain form of allergy. And now, when you consume milk, it doesn't show that way, but it's affecting you in other ways.
In other ways.
It definitely can. It's like, being, how do you really piss off a pitta guy, right? You feed them lots of hot, spicy food, right? Lots of meat, lots of alcohol, right? Lots of vinegary foods, acidic things. And you're going to have higher chances of that person having those problems. Doesn't mean everybody does, but, the chances are going to be higher, okay? So yes, it can manifest in that way too. As you said, the psychological part too, which is happening for you. Okay, but it's not which is interesting though. I mean, this is why it's so interesting, because it's individual based, right? Because we can't really explain that per se, right? If you look at it from the modern medicine paradigm,
right?
Your condition,
right?
Go ahead.
So like a kid that has severe eczema, as then they can grow out of that. But is there a part of that quality, that dryness or whatever, which is still always kind of with them?
Yeah. So it's like eczema and asthma go together, right? A lot of times. So yes, the kid that has that potential is there.
Yeah.
Potential is there. Given the right environment, it can show up again. Okay. So as for Ayurveda, okay, this is the disease health model, the way Ayurveda looks at it. It's not that these viruses and things are attacking us, right? Our model is that, right? And we have to boost up our immunity, antibiotics and things, and fight against these guys. The model is, Ayurvedic model is, Kshetra is the field, which is your body, okay? So if the field is ripe, the seed of disease will take root and sprout, okay? So if my immunity is down because of, various factors, whatever mom and dad gave me, right, in terms of my general immunity, and my digestive fire was a certain way and all these different things. Now I am being fed a certain food, or I'm in a certain environment or whatever else, and it's manifesting as eczema or whatever else the child is having. Okay? So the potential is there because the genetic component is still there. But once I know, okay, well, this kind of child, tends to get eczema, tends to get these problems, and it's dry eczema, not wet, weeping eczema, then I'm going to manage it by certain things. I'm not going to give that child those things, right? Yes, it's a lifelong, because remember, that's the excess. It can always get vitiated. Doesn't mean it will. Like, as a kid, I couldn't have eggs. I had the same deal, right? Egg would come right out. My parents were like, what's wrong with him? Let's try again. Come right out. Went to the doctor, like, well, it sounds like he's allergic to egg. Okay? So after a while, but as an adult, one day I said, okay, I'm going to try it again. I tried it, and I was like, yeah, it was fine, nothing happened, okay? But the potential is there. I'm sure it affects me, it can affect me in certain ways, right? Maybe I might get more congestion or something else, okay? So, where was I? Constitution, right? Understanding that's your prakriti. If I understand that, then I know it's still about keeping homeostasis. That was your question, right? That's always the goal. If I'm a kapha primary person, I'm not trying to become a vata person. No, that's not my homeostasis. This is my homeostasis. Understanding what my homeostasis is the important thing. 50% of the work is done. If I assess someone and I say, okay, this is the constitution of this person, by asking questions, looking at objective tests, observation, the most important thing, right? Pulse diagnosis, tongue, various things. You get a picture of the person, you say, okay, this is the person. Once I know their constitution, even if I don't know about the disease yet, okay, 50% of my job is done. Because I know this is the constitution, this is the baseline I got to work towards getting back to. You bring it back to baseline, a lot of the problems will go away. Of course, I'm simplifying it, but again, it depends what stage the disease is in. If it's in full manifestation and differentiation stage, I have full-blown arthritis, I have the joint is completely degenerated, right? Their bone spurs, cartilage is gone. It's just pacifying the symptoms then, or the problem, but you can't totally eradicate it then, okay? But if you catch it in the early stage, as per Ayurveda, you can completely eradicate the problem, okay? Good? Mm-hmm. All right. So, once I understand my constitution, as I said, so with the Vata person, we were saying the qualities that are going to aggravate Vata, vitiate it more, get me in trouble. So, as I said, dry foods, right? Crackers. She looks up like, but not for everybody, right? This is just what's going to do it for a certain person. Yeah. And again, what time of year are you eating crackers? You gotta stretch it a little further, right? You say, okay, well, it's winter time, it's raining, this is not my primary constitution. Can I have a cracker? Yeah, probably can. Okay? So if it's fall, it's windy out there, it's dry out there. Right? I'm living in New Mexico, the elevation is higher. So, and it's dry, and maybe I won't eat dry foods because I tend to have more of these problems. Okay? So, crackers, we said beans, rice cakes, anything that's dry, even salad. Now, salad is supposed to be so good for you, right? So, not for a Vata person. Why? Isn't salad cold?
Yes.
Isn't salad kind of dry unless you add oil